The sound of a gunshot shattered the air like a cracked mirror. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't a car backfiring. It was a bullet meant to end someone's life. Tasha Harris dropped to the ground. Her instincts were faster than her fear. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She covered her head and whispered one name. Malik. She didn't want to die. Not in the street. Not in front of strangers. And not without seeing her son again. But she felt it. That certainty that comes when your skin makes you guilty before you even speak. The cold fact that someone with a badge had just decided she was a threat. It had started like any other morning. Tasha worked nights at St. Agnes Hospital. 12-hour shifts. She cleaned floors, mopped blood, and changed sheets in rooms where people came to heal and sometimes never left. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. She'd been doing it since she was 22. Now, at 39, her body was tired, but her spirit still burning. That morning, the sky was soft with golden light. Her youngest, Jamal, had just turned 8. He loved school, oddly enough. Math was his thing. He was already doing fractions and asking questions like, why does a negative times a negative make a positive? Tasha always walked him to the gates herself. Not because she didn't trust the neighborhood, but because she liked that time with him. 5 blocks of little boy chatter and silly jokes about dinosaurs and outer space. Her eldest, Malik, was 17, smart, quiet, protective. He was the kind of kid who noticed things most teens missed. When she came home limping, he'd already drawn her a bath. When groceries were short, he'd skip dinner without being asked. He worked at the corner gas station and helped a neighbor with yard work on weekends. Tasha told him to rest that morning. It's your day off. Sleep in, she said. She didn't know that by 10 a.m., he'd be running barefoot through an alley to save her life. On her walk home from Jamal's school, Tasha noticed flashing lights up ahead. 2 squad cars. A white man yelling. She crossed the street to avoid the chaos. But it didn't matter. An officer turned. He looked right at her. And just like that, she became the problem. He yelled something. She raised her hands. She didn't run. She didn't argue. Then came the shot. She dropped. Her ears rang. Her breath caught. Her heart didn't know whether to beat faster or stop altogether. They were yelling now. More officers approaching. One saying, stop resisting. Resisting what? She was on the ground, face pressed to warm pavement, breathing dust and disbelief. Another shout. Another gun cocked. Then a voice. Strong. Familiar. That voice was Malik. He wasn't dressed. Still barefoot. A pair of pajama pants hanging loose at his hips. Phone gripped in his right hand like it was a weapon. But he wasn't there to fight. He was there to witness. You're live, he said calmly. Thousands watching. Say hi. His voice didn't shake, but his hands did. He'd woken up with a knot in his chest. Something told him not to sleep in. When he checked the time and saw Tasha hadn't returned yet, something pulled him out the door. He grabbed his phone and started jogging. When he saw the crowd, the sirens, the guns, he ran harder. Malik knew the statistics. He knew the names. Tamir, Sandra, Philando, and he knew that if he didn't do something, Tasha Harris could be next. He didn't yell stop or that's my mom. He said the one thing more powerful than fear. You're live. The camera pointed straight at the officer's badge. The live stream exploded. Comments poured in. What's happening? Is she okay? Somebody get the badge number. This is why we record everything. Tasha pushed herself up, trembling, pain radiating through her arms. Her son moved toward her, one arm still extended, and crouched beside her. I'm okay, she whispered, voice breaking. Baby, I'm okay. Malik didn't answer. He kept recording. The comments were rolling in. We see you. Back away from that woman. She's unarmed. Tag the mayor. Call legal aid. The phone was a weapon of a different kind. And now the officers knew it. Another squad car pulled up. A third officer stepped out, but this one kept his weapon holstered. He walked straight to the older cop, whispered something, and nodded toward the phone. They were being watched. Finally, Tasha slowly stood, her legs wobbling beneath her. Malik stayed close, not turning off the live stream. The young officer who fired the shot looked pale now. Sweating, shaken, he holstered his weapon and muttered, "We're done here." "No," Malik said. "You don't just shoot at someone and walk away." "Sir, we'll file a report." The older cop started, but Malik had already turned to the phone. "Everybody watching, screenshot these badges. We're filing charges. We're not letting this get buried." That's when the cops left. No apology, no explanation, just silence. That night, Malik didn't sleep. Neither did Tasha. They sat at the kitchen table, still in their clothes from that morning, barefoot, sore, emotionally wrecked. A cold pot of coffee sat untouched. Outside, the world spun on. But inside, everything had changed. The video had been viewed over 3 million times in 12 hours. Local news stations were camped on their front lawn. Tasha's phone rang nonstop. Calls from activists, lawyers, reporters, and complete strangers. One message said, "I saw what happened. I'm a civil rights attorney. I'll help you pro bono." For the first time in her life, Tasha was seen, not as a suspect, not as a statistic, as a mother who survived something most wouldn't. The officer who fired was placed on administrative leave. That meant nothing to her. No badge lost. No arrest. Just a timeout. Still, something in the city shifted. Protests popped up. Signs with her name, Tasha Harris. Mother. Survivor. People held candles. One little girl held a sign that said, "My mom walks me to school too." That broke Tasha. She wept in her son's arms, whispering, "I almost didn't make it. I almost didn't come home." "You did," Malik whispered back, "because you taught me how to show up when it matters." He wasn't just talking about the video. Malik started something afterward, a youth group called Shield Up. It wasn't about violence. It was about visibility. He trained teens to document injustice, to know their rights, to de-escalate when possible, and to survive. Being black shouldn't mean you're born guilty, he said at their first meeting, held in a church basement packed with 60 kids. But until the world sees our humanity, we got to record it ourselves. Tasha stood in the back, hand over her heart, tears in her eyes. Not every story ends with blood on the pavement. Not every cop walks away clean. But not every mother gets to hold her son after a gun is drawn, either. She did. And that mattered. They say a camera can't stop a bullet. But sometimes it can stop a finger. Sometimes it gives a voice to the silenced. And sometimes it gives a mother one more day to say, "I love you." Tasha didn't ask to be a headline. She just wanted to walk her son to school. And Malik? He didn't set out to be a hero. He just refused to watch his mother die.